President Obama ordered a top-to-bottom review of nuclear facilities in the United States after the disaster in Japan. What does this mean for the nuclear industry? We're joined now by Spencer Abraham, former Energy Secretary under President George W. Bush. He's now non-executive chairman of Areva's U.S. arm, Areva Inc. That's the #1 supplier of products and services to nuclear plants in this country. Welcome to InBusiness, sir. What can you tell us about what is being done by your company right now in this country to help increase security at nuclear plants?
Well, obviously, first of all, Margaret, good to be with you. Obviously, Areva and all of the other players in the U.S. nuclear business are working in conjunction with both the President's directive and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's efforts to make sure that we once again evaluate the safety of the U.S. Nuclear facilities. Now, with the information that's being slowly learned from the experience in Japan, and Areva's helping to lead that effort. We're committed, as are all the other companies, I think, to operating safely and to taking into account any new information that's discovered to upgrade the safety of U.S. reactors. But I think it's absolutely the case that the U.S. industry, based on not my experience with Areva as much as Energy Secretary, that the U.S. nuclear industry works harder than any other industry to maintain safety standards as high as possible.
Well, sir, you were the Energy Secretary of this country during 9/11, and we keep hearing about U.S. security being increased at plants immediately after those attacks. When you were Secretary, did you ever model out a situation like what we're seeing on the Japan ground now?
Well, this is such a unique, historic combination of circumstances in terms of the magnitude of the earthquake, followed by the tsunami. I mean, I think that definitely those types of scenarios have been, over the years, evaluated for every U.S. plant. Whether the exact type of plant that they have in Japan is modeled the exact type of earthquake that took place there, I can't say. But definitely seismic activity is evaluated, as is the kind of flooding situations that have happened. Although, again, happening in sequence, it should be noted that despite the age of the reactor and the fact that it had only been really designed to meet an 8.2 level earthquake, the fact that it even still standing after a 9.0 earthquake tests to the degree to which these structures are soundly developed.
Now, 20 of the U.S. reactors in this country are of the same model as the one in distress in Japan. And there are 2 nuclear reactors on fault lines in California. I mean, when you were Energy Secretary, how concerned were you about these type of events?
Well, we know that whenever whether it's Diablo Canyon or any of the others that are near fault lines, of course that's a different angle there, but right. There's extra measures that are taken to try to make sure that seismic activity will not endanger the functioning of nuclear plants.
But does more need to be done now?
I think that the evaluation the President's called for will identify anything more. But again, I don't think I think for us to engage in a widespread panic over this would be completely wrong. The other point I'd make is that, for some time there's been a debate about building new, safer Generation 3+ reactors. And the argument has been, why shouldn't we build the even safer models? Hopefully, the results of this won't be to not build new reactors, but to take advantage of the even safer designs that are out there and move in that direction.
Sir, you recently wrote a book. You've written about your desire to see nuclear energy move up from 20% of energy use in this country to 30% within the next 9 years. Given what's happened, have you scaled back the trajectory for that, or the likelihood of that trajectory?
It was actually to be accomplished over 20 years. I think the likelihood probably, decreases at least temporarily, just because of the controversies here and the obviously catastrophic events in Japan, for which we're all, deeply concerned. But the need for it, to me, has not diminished. Across the globe, countries from the United Arab Emirates to Finland to India to China to the UK are building new, safer generation nuclear power plants. I think it would be in the U.S. interest to do that. It would not only help us in terms of meeting our energy needs, but it would also reduce our emissions of carbon dioxide at a time when that's one of our priorities.